a big fat 0 to medicine.
Art 2. Kir Sabal. Here we go. You guys are still standing in front of the Horn Plateau thingy?
No, we're heading... Oh,
Let's go up the Horn Plateau.
Do we see a clear path up to it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then let's go. Let's do that.
Who goes first?
Is it as thin as the Mbala one? Or does it seem more sturdy? I.e.
What? What are you talking
the
about?
pathway up to the horn.
Oh, it's literally a staircase.
Oh,
it's not like hundreds of feet up. It's like 20 feet staircase up to where this horn is.
Oh, I thought it was like halfway up or something.
No. It's like literally at the bottom with a little staircase leading up to it. Yeah.
Apologies, then yeah, I'd like to go and check out this horn.
Give me an athletics check or fall to your death. I'm just kidding.
Featherfall.
Counterspell.
No! Versus...
The cliff.
Well, you gonna roll? No, I'm just kidding.
I guess.
No, you're dead. You've fallen 30 feet.
But I didn't roll! You said or!
Yeah, so there's this horn on this little plateau. It's on a little stone bench, and it's a horn, and it's...
Is there anything around it, like a plaque with writing or anything like that?
There is a carving in the stone of the bench that the horn rests on. I can't find it.
Oh, okay. I was like, am I supposed to be asking more?
Be puzzle. And then blow the horn.
Speak, friend, and blow.
Sorry, Oh, really? That's what it looks like? Okay. That's kind of anticlimactic. Okay. There is a carving underneath. And it is also painted with some sort of pigment. It depicts a kind of a blue square with a white kind of cumulus cloud in the center of it.
Does that mean anything to me?
I don't know. It would be a religion check.
Come on. You can do it. There it is.
I closed the page. 1 sec. Here we go. 19? Okay.
19.
Yeah,
that was so close to it.
The symbol is a holy symbol. You recognize it. It's a little bit different because normally when this symbol would have some other symbols like in the four corners of the square. This one doesn't have that. But it's very reminiscent of a rather not a well-worshipped god, at least not in the Sword Coast or that you're aware of, but it is the symbol of Akkadi, which with a 19 you would know is also known as the Queen of Air. Is the embodiment of elemental air and a goddess of air, speed, and flying creatures. You would also know with a 19 that she is a primordial, not an actual god. Um, sorry, I have something in my throat.
Drink of water, maybe?
Nope,
Okay,
juice.
that too.
Much better. Much better. Yeah, you don't have a lot of other information, but with the 19, the only other thing that you could know would be she's in kind of a pantheon of gods that includes other gods such as Kasuth, god of fire, Umberly, the god of the sea, Grumbar, the elemental god of earth. They're kind of greater deities that are all typically like elemental based. So she's one of those kind of primordial. I keep saying god, but they're not gods. They're primordials.
What was the Earth one?
Grumbar.
Grumbar. It's a great name.
Yep.
Cool. And there's nothing else.
Nope.
Alright. Well, somebody who's got good lung capacity. Baz? You want to? Are we agreed? We want to blow this thing?
Yeah, I mean,
See what
it's all
happens.
under instructions.
We came all this way.
I'm gonna start ritual casting comprehend languages.
Shoot. How long does that take?
10 minutes.
I'll
So we don't have to necessarily wait.
I'll wait. I'll wait.
You'll
5
wait?
minutes.
5. Okay. That seems fair. Might take him a while to get over here. I did prepare it. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So I have to ritual cast it.
Yeah, I will wait 5 minutes, and then I will
Thanks.
take a big old freaking breath, and
The sound reverberates loudly, echoing across the plateaus.
God, I hope.
After a few moments, there is a kind of answering call that echoes out from atop Kir Sabal. You're not sure from exactly where, but somewhere up there.
Oh,
And sorry, just one sec.
sure, no problem.
Oh, I like this one. Okay, we'll use this. This wind is driving me nuts. The music is probably going to be way more epic than I'm going for, but that's okay. It sounded okay at the beginning. Yeah, so you see a few moments later, after this echoing horn blasts out from above, you can see way up there some forms kind of come out on the balcony looking down. They're very small figures from this distance, but then one of them He his voice actually comes out. I don't know if you were expecting kind of like a voice like the Kenku, like kind of like this, like a squawking or a screeching, but his voice comes out more like a rumble, like a deep kind of rumble. And he says, "I see you under the sun and the sky. You come before Kir Sabal. State your purpose."
Hello. Hi.
Is he saying this in common?
He is.
Okay.
By the way, that's a picture of him.
Oh, he's so cool.
Oh, wow.
Oh, damn.
You were not kidding about the parrot. That's pretty freaking cool.
We
hello.
seek knowledge.
Yep. My name's Baz. These are my friends. We're traveling through the jungle. We're looking for knowledge. And perhaps maybe
Knowledge and what training seek.
Okay.
Very well. How? There's a staircase up, right?
No.
Nope.
No. Okay, then I would say, what's the best way for us to get up?
Approach?
I'm ready.
Ready for that crap.
I want Aelin to be like, just like arms out and like head back and eyes closed, and they're just leaving, and you're standing.
They're coming back, right?
This
They're just looping around.
This is gonna be so cool.
Maybe I like this better.
I guess technically speaking, I can get us there. It's just gonna take. It would take a long time, but we're not screwed.
I'm gonna play something else. This is bugging me.
Oh,
It's too epic for what's going on. It's good. A bit more subdued as it breaks out into like some sort of like massive battle music.
You never know until you get into it.
This is why I should have took some. Usually I take the time to find the music I actually want for different places, but it's pretty good. I like this. Okay, so you guys are, yeah. He kind of looks you up and down, and he's like, "We will carry you."
Oh, are you okay? Sure.
Thank
That'd be
you.
very, very nice.
And he kind of like
I just kind of look at Baz and Donnaquin like.
He kind of like
Everybody.
descends to the ground and gestures to the ones flying around. Two of them just take off and fly back up. And then he kind of turns to the others and he intones something. It's very similar if to like throat singing. Is this kind of sound that he starts making? And then you see the others kind of like join in, and there's kind of like a swirl of like a breeze that kind of like kicks up around you. And then you see kind of coalescing in front of this group of them as they're kind of just standing there intoning. A rather large, probably about 10-foot tall, like being composed of like air, just swirling masses of air, kind of coalesces out of the air, and he reaches down to one of you in one hand and just basically just grabs you and grabs another one, and then he flies up, deposits you on a short balcony before returning two at a time, basically.
Cool.
Wow. Well, that was fun.
The balcony that you guys are deposited on is a large balcony with. Gee, I need to see. Yeah, it's about halfway up. So here's a. No, I'm not muted, and I am recording. Here's an image of what you'll see as you're heading up. Carved into the side.
Very Batman Begins.
It is kind of Batman Beginsy.
Yeah, exactly. It's all fighting. And
Um,
great.
So they deposit you. So you can see as you go up. There might have been a stairway that actually led up here at some point, but as the Aaracokra, you imagine, don't need it. They have not kept in well repair. Like basically below this last set of like dwellings, like all these buildings, kind of on the first couple layers, you're not sure what they're for, but they look like single or larger family dwellings. And then there is a walkway that kind of goes up, but from this point onwards, it's basically just very rickety and does not look safe whatsoever, and there's large gaps in it. Even part way up, like there's gaps. But they deposit you about here, on just in front of these buildings. There is another probably 10 or so Aaracokra, all with those long spears, kind of standing around. On either side of you, blocking your way from going anywhere. There's kind of a rickety, kind of like very steep step ladder that goes up to this other building up here. But it's quite steep. It's almost a ladder, but it's a staircase made of wood. It looks. It doesn't look like it's super sturdy, but it's much more well maintained than the ones down below that you flew by. Once you're all landed, the man that greeted you, he nods to you, and he's like, "You'll follow me. You need to become cleansed before being brought to the temple proper." And then he kind of stops for a moment. And he's like, "I am known as Tibalt Ara."
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you again for allowing us here.
He nods. He's like, "It is the will of the sun, but I allow nothing here. Teacher will determine whether you stay or not."
Fair enough.
Lead the way.
And he gestures for you to follow him. The Aaracokra kind of in between you and the steps kind of part. None of them say anything. They just kind of like watch you all pretty warily, it looks like. And yeah, he doesn't take the stairs. He just kind of like takes a hop and just beats his wings twice and lands at the top.
So cool.
And then he brings you into a rather small room, at least at the entrance of a rather small room. It's probably only like 15 feet by maybe 20 feet, kind of this rectangular chamber. There are two. There's no windows here at all, except for the door you enter. There's only one way in or out of here that you can see. Although there is a very tall ladder that leads up to a closed hatch in the roof, about maybe 30 feet above, against the one wall. There is also a kind of a stone basin cut into the side of the wall, and you can see that it looks like fresh water is flowing out of a spout in the wall into the basin, and it seems to be draining somewhere else. You don't know where exactly, but it maintains a fairly deep level. Like you couldn't take a bath in it, but you could definitely like bathe yourself in it, you know. And he on the south wall, kind of the furthest, not the south wall, I guess it's south, we'll call it south. Yeah, it would be the south wall. I'm sorry, I'm trying to orient myself because whole monastery faces south. So on the outer wall,
Okay.
the south wall, there is two lamps. It looks like they're lit, kind of flickering, giving very dull orange glow to the room. In between them, in the center of the wall, there is what looks to be a painted tapestry that depicts all manner of birds, like just kind of like flying with a backdrop of just like clouds and sky. In the center, there is a rather prominent like storm cloud with 3 lightning bolts coming off of it. You could make a religion check for that if you wanted to. Baz. It's nice that you try.
Baz doesn't know anything about anything ever.
Oh, babe.
Donaquin and Jonah, you'll both recognize that is an aspect of the primordial, again for lack of, but I guess it's just primordial, of Talos, the Stormlord. He's a similar. He shares a lot in common with Umberly, minus like the sea. So Lord of Storms, and that kind of thing, but not storms at sea. That's the domain of Umberly. But he's generally considered to be, I believe, he's considered to be an evil god. Yes, he's chaotic evil. But yeah, and he's surrounded by all sorts of like birds of paradise and birds in flight, and also other flying creatures. You can see some winged like pteranodons and things, as well as depictions of Aaracokra. As well, you can see depictions of it looks like winged creatures. Like there's some like lizard. You could make an Arcana check actually on the creatures, but there's these winged creatures that looks like serpents with kind of like multicolored like feathered wings. Archie, you recognize them as coatls, which are known to be like benevolent and very rare creatures that are usually pretty powerful. T-Bolt gestures. It makes a few like hand motions towards the image, and then he kind of stands back against the northern wall and gestures to the basin, and he says, "Here you will cleanse yourself of the dust of the earth below." And he kind of like just stands back and like looks at you expectantly.
Does it seem like he wants us to like bathe ourselves in this basin?
You probably. I mean, he's gesturing to the basin, and he said, "Here you will cleanse yourself." Sorry.
What was that, John?
About how big is it?
It's a large enough basin. Like you could probably stand like 3 side by side, but it's not deep enough to like sit into like a bath. But you could like. There is. You can see that along the wall, like in the corners next to the basin, along the oh god, was it western?
That way.
Eastern wall. Along the eastern wall where the basin is, there is you can see various like small like clay containers, and it looks like some of them contain salt. Another one looks like has like maybe incense, and others have what you can only imagine is some sort of like various like talcs and powders, as well as soaps and stuff.
Okay. Baz will start kind of sucking some water up through his trunk and like spraying his arms and things like that, and sort of like as he's doing it, maybe just like glance behind him to see if
he's doing it right.
he's doing it yeah, maybe, I don't know.
The T-Bolt kind of like gestures at you, like basically at your body, at your like clothes and gear.
All the way. Oh, okay. Sure. I'll take my backpack off and start disrobing, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. What do the rest of you do?
Giving Baz his privacy.
Watching
I'm
Baz
not,
and the
I'm not
reaction
going all
that
the way
it's
down
getting.
to fully nude.
I don't know.
Starts dropping his stuff, whatever else. I mean, just gets right in, so shell and all. Just bashful a bit.
Yeah, I'd follow suit.
Yeah, once Baz is done.
I do not wait for Baz to be done. I just.
I mean, with both Baz and Donnaquin there, I feel like I'll wait.
Yeah, there might be, you might need a little bit more space. Yeah. Yeah. T-Bolt, he doesn't seem to like care really what like if you guys do one at a time or two at a time or whatever. But Baz, as you and Donnaquin being the first ones there, as you kind of finish up, he kind of turns and opens a small like cabinet that's in the northern wall, and pulls out some basically like clean, like looks like white kind of woven like linen towels, and just kind of like hands stacks of them to you guys. And then he kind of like he kind of thinks better. He hands them to Baz, and he goes to hand you some, Sean. And then he kind of thinks better. He's like, "Forgive. You prefer to be wet?"
It's true. I enjoy stuff to water.
He nods, puts and hands the towels to like, other people instead. And then he turns around and pulls what looks to be like you know those like hotel slippers, like they go over your boots so you don't get like carpets dirty. He like pulls those things out and he hands. He's like, "For your feet."
Thank you.
He's handing them to Donnaquin.
Oh.
just to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the rest of you have boots and stuff. I assume you guys would get dressed again after you're done cleaning, right? Or does Baz have boots? I don't know.
I don't think Baz does boots.
It's never come up until now. I don't know if Loxodon have normal feet or just elephant feet. Do you wear shoes or boots? I don't even know.
Elephant, but it's your fault.
So okay, I do think that this has come up one time before, and I think I canonically stated that Loxodon don't wear boots, and because I went on to Google and I started like looking at pictures of Loxodon, and frankly, it's a mixed bag, but it seems to be 70-30 no boots.
Because they're not typical boot-shaped feet, so you have
That's
to have
also
them.
not uniform.
Okay, fair enough.
Sometimes,
It's artist's interpretation.
yeah, sometimes they're illustrated as straight up elephant feet, feet.
Okay.
And sometimes it's like normal human style feet in a boot,
Well, if you're not wearing boots, then he will hand you these like slip-on slipper things.
All right. Sounds good.
While those two
Yeah, he gives the extra large ones.
I shove them in.
while they're cleaning and we're waiting our turn, I'm gonna like start prestidigitationing my actual clothes just so they don't look gross. I will still wash. I'll still, like remove them and bathe and all of that respectfully, but she just wants to
Respectfully.
look clean too. Especially her boots.
Okay. Yeah, Gorthax isn't super bashful either. He just kind of like strips down and cleans himself, and he's like, He's like, ugh, it's about time to get this grime of the road off. And then he takes some of like the perfumed like powders and like kind of like powders under his arms. And
You said there was soap.
once he's done washing, he like grabs like a comb and a brush and starts like combing out his beard.
Yeah.
Hey, looking
If there's
nice.
soaps, like Archie is gonna use all of that.
Sure.
She's gonna like she's got long, thick hair, so she wants. Yeah, she'd go nuts with all of that. She'd
like-
probably take longer than everybody, like
Yeah,
making them wait for her.
I'm like in and out and waiting and just like, come on.
She's got her head upside down. She's like scrubbing it.
There's like some sort of like green like beetle about this long like pulls out of your hair. Ah!
How did I not feel that?
It's in your hair.
She doubles down just to make sure.
Once you guys are like finishing up, essentially, and like drying off and stuff, and what's the opposite of disrobe?
Re-robing.
Re-robe? Enrobe? Once you're like
Clothing?
yeah, once you're donning your clothes again and stuff, he will nod to you all and he's like, yes, much better. And then he points to the ladder and he's like, climb there, I will meet you up top. And he kind of steps out and jumps off the balcony.
I would have washed Gerald as best as I could. I would have scrubbed
Grab a
his
sponge and like
rock.
scrubbing him down.
Yeah, just like scrubbing him as a rock, basically.
Get that wrapped
Polish
blood off.
rock.
Al does not appreciate my attempts to wash him. Actually, that's not true. Some birds really love water.
I think a lot of birds do.
He likes the water. He's pretty cool. We climb?
Yeah, I'm gonna start climbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You get probably about halfway up or so when the hatch at the top opens. And you see T-Bolt kind of like look down, see you about 15 feet down, and kind of steps back. You climb into a slightly larger room than you left. There is there's a large open without a door like archway that looks out onto the sky, and from here you can see quite clearly a large like the jungle canopy below and everything. And you can also see, let me just make sure in case how far you can see. You can see, yeah, probably stretching 30-40 miles. There is a long kind of thin, not thin, it's probably about 20 miles wide and maybe like 40 miles long. There's like this large swath of like swamp with just these large trees that are kind of like, it's not as thick as the jungle, but you can definitely see like that it does not look like it would be pleasant to make your way through. Although there's a lot of waterways, like it's a true like swamp. It's not just like marshland, so there's actual like waterways snaking through the trees all over the place. You could probably canoe through it actually, but it'd be kind of like Louisiana, like bayou kind of,
Oh, and it was never like overtly stated. We left the canoes down by the horn.
Oh, I kind of just
We still
assumed
got
that.
them.
Yeah. Do you mind carrying our canoes up here?
I don't even look at it so funny.
Do we have to wash the canoes too?
Yeah, and also from up here, is it a clear day? What was the weather today? Do you guys remember?
I think it was a normal.
No rain.
No
water.
rain, yeah.
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah. So you can also see to the southwest, you can just barely through like the haze. You can barely make out the coast.
Wow.
Just way in the distance, like 40, 50 miles. Actually, how far can you see typically if you're high up? I don't even know.
If it's a clear day,
1,000 miles.
1,000? I think that's a little much, isn't it?
I think that's maybe a little.
Could
What's
you see
Google
50,
say?
could you see 50 miles in a clear day from a high
Probably.
vantage point?
On the way to clear.
I don't know. I just want to be realistic about what you can see. So
12 miles.
Yeah, that's
really?
probably
That's it?
land though, but
No,
without high up.
no, the 12 miles.
Was that it? Okay.
For the
Yeah.
curvature.
Top of the vertical leaf. How far can you
before
see?
the curvature of the Earth, kind of.
At sea level, horizon's only 3 miles away. So
This is equatorial almost. So I don't know how high above sea level you guys are though.
well,
I
just
don't
saying
know.
that like in
Hold
terms of
on,
the
hold
curve.
The higher you are, the further you see. Standing 1,000 feet above sea level, you can see about 38 miles away.
Perfect.
And from the top, there you go.
Perfect. We'll say you're slightly higher than that, and you can see the bay because you can see. Yeah, you can see.
If you're
the
on
edge-
top of Everest, you could see 208 miles.
Yeah, so you can see the edge of the swamp. It's about 40 miles southeast, and then you can see just barely make out the bay.
Is there a
and
ship there?
you can't make out any details of even ships from this distance. You can basically just barely make out on the horizon that there's water there. From here, you could also see... No, you can't really see the other direction because you can't look the other direction. Without... Yeah. You've just got that view to the southeast. But yeah, you can see this wide open view. You can also see in the room here... so you're kind of in the northern part of the room, looking south out that entrance. There is a wooden walkway that's it's only about 5 feet wide, with no railings.
Which Baz will, assuming we're gonna be walking up it, he will take very gingerly.
Yeah. There is in the room as well, on the western wall, there is a wooden case with shelves of candles, as well as scarves, laid out in various bright colors. At the east end of the chamber, there is a 5-foot tall wooden statue that's adorned with flowers and various fruits and stuff laid out on plates at its feet. The statue is very old, it looks like, and it's worn almost smooth. So it's impossible to determine just by looking at it what it might have originally portrayed, some sort of figure. Yeah, there is one other Aaracokra other than T-Bolt in here. A kind of small, kind of hunched, kind of red-feathered woman that's got a kind of a straw or leaf. I don't know what they would use, leaves, I guess, kind of lashed together broom, and she's just kind of sweeping dust and kind of cleaning up some of the plates and maybe some of the older fruit that's been here.
I mean, feathers, right?
Feathers?
Probably
Sure.
got
feather
tons of
duster.
them.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be like making a broom with your own hair? Be a little weird, right?
I mean,
I mean-
hair mops are one of the most effective ways of cleaning up oil.
Yeah.
Oh.
People back in the
the more
Victorian
you
times,
know.
they used to keep their shedded hair and used it to puff out their hairdos.
You can also see there is a small dish which contains, as far as you can tell, is kind of full of sparkling gold dust.
Oh.
In this little dish, like a porcelain dish. It almost looks like. T-Bolt is kind of just waiting for you next to the entrance. As you guys all kind of climb up one after the other.
As we earthbound folk slowly make our way.
Yeah, there's 2 lanterns on the north and south wall opposite side of the statue as well. They kind of light, even though there's plenty of natural light coming in, it kind of lights that corner of the room as well. T-Bolt would kind of as you all kind of get up there, he gestures over to the table with the scarves and candles and stuff on it, and he says, "You may Take a scarf if you wish to wrap yourself. It is not necessary, but it is our custom. And then he points at the candles. He's like, if you'd like to light a candle, it represents a mote of the sun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll do both.
I'll do the same. I'll look for are they all sorts of different colors or mostly one color?
No, there's all the colors of the rainbow.
Find
Well,
a
Gray.
There is no
Or
gray
like
scarves.
silver.
There's some. Yeah, there's probably some like. There's not really metallic colors, but there's probably like. There is definitely some white and like yellow, but there's not really like gray or black or.
Yeah, I'll take a white one.
I want purple.
Yeah,
It'll match my gold.
I'll find a royal blue scarf. And
Grab a scarf too.
light a candle.
I will grab a green,
The green?
Should we
dark green one.
leave something with an offering? And I kind of gestured to the statue.
And he kind of like looks back at you and he's like, if you are a believer, but not on our account, not for not a symbolic gesture, I suppose. And he kind of like looks you all up and down, and Gorthax will find like a bright orange scarf.
Oh right, Orthax, hi.
Oh God! Ah!
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 Durgar!
Durgar! Throws him
Kill
off.
him!
God. When did you join the?
I keep forgetting he's a Durgar.
Yes.
I keep just thinking he's a
He's
dwarf.
squinting, and he's like sitting there like kind of like squinting. Actually, he's got the hat. He's kind of got it pulled down. He like wraps his scarf around.
We need to get you some sunglasses, buddy.
He's like, I just don't understand why we're always traveling during the day.
Isn't it easier to see at night?
T-Bolt, after you guys have gathered those, yeah, you guys, sorry, you wanted to, do you grab candles or no?
Oh yeah, we would like. I'd
Yeah,
like
well,
candles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All of you, or just some of you?
I do.
I would.
I would.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would just wait.
Because the sun is stupid.
Yeah, Gorthax is like, I'm with you, buddy. Mode of the sun.
Yeah, this guy gets
Blinding enough without having it in my hand.
I'm used to having fire in my hands.
Anyways, he kind of
Who is he?
He kind of nods, and then he points up to a very long, rickety ladder that's probably like 60, 70 feet. And he says, I will... He's like, come. We enter the temple. And he hops off the edge and just flies up and lands at the top.
Before he leaves, I'm just gonna just quickly point at the ladder, like, you're sure about the ladder, and kind of gesture at my enormity, like, it's gonna be okay.
And he kind of doesn't stop. He just kind of hops off. He kind of calls down. He's like, think of it as a test, whether the sun gods favor you.
Do you want to cheat?
No, it's more about if the sun gods favor this ladder.
Well,
I'll be fine. I just don't want to destroy your property.
oh,
Why don't you all go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's no checks required, so you just walk up. Yeah, it is only wide enough for single file.
Tough climbing a ladder when you're holding a candle, though.
Oh, it's not really a ladder. It's just a steep staircase.
Oh.
It's definitely it would be a calf work. I don't know. Is it calves or whatever? It's definitely a workout.
Calves. Yeah.
Because they're kind of like long. Actually, Jonah, No, you can, they're not like giant steps. You can just walk in there.
Cool. If I go.
All right. So Baz, it creaks, and actually for Donoquin as well. It'll creak a little bit unnervingly as you step on it, but it doesn't give.
I'll
I'm
have
very, very, very nervous also being like this high up also with all this, just walking on wood and stuff.
I'll have Gerald go last, just in case.
Gerald was never seen again.
Well, till tomorrow morning. And Mark 5.
Yeah, so you guys make it to the top, and there is a door.
A single door?
There's a single door.
Okay.
T-Bolt will open the door and enter, gesturing for you to follow him. Inside is a long kind of what's the scale on this map? Let me just double check this. Yeah, there's a long 15-foot wide room, rectangular room. It's 15 feet wide by about 30 feet long. In the center, it is it looks like it's some sort of like maybe like a dining hall. There's a long table with wooden stools alongside them, but enough seating for about 10. There is some cupboards and cabinets and things, but they're all closed. There's no one in here at the moment. The only other exit is across, basically just almost straight across the room. And T-Bolt doesn't pause here at all. He just walks over to the other door and opens it and goes through there, gesturing for you to follow again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which leads you into a larger secondary, not a secondary, a larger like main chamber. Here, you can see that there are two large archways looking out to the south, larger than, or about the same size as the one in the last building you were in, with a small, about 5 foot wide or 5 foot balcony that's runs like the length in front of the doors. The room itself is about 60 feet by 60 feet, and there is a staircase with like a railing that leads up to the room above. Basically, there's kind of like basically it leads up about 30 feet, and then there's a balcony, and then another staircase leads up again, and then another balcony. So the whole the roof itself is quite a bit above you.
Add it to the winner's pile.
I think that was something from Sean. Something about a winner's pile.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a pretty impressive sight. The rafters are about 60 feet above the floor. The peak is about of the roof is about 15 feet above the rafters. The space is large enough, and in fact there are several Aaracokra in here that they can fly inside it. And in the center of the floor there is a circular symbol, which you recognize immediately as the symbol of Ubtao, laid out in a floor mosaic about 25 feet in diameter. You can see as well that directly across from you there is another hallway. Like there's a small entrance that leads into a hallway, and there's a door on the far western wall inside that hallway as well. And here there is. Let me just check one thing. Okay, there's that. Oh. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just checking what's one thing here.
Sure.
just want to see. It doesn't have. It's not. There's a part of this thing that's not labeled. I'm trying to figure out what it is, just in case it's super important.
Because usually those non-labeled things are the most important.
Oh, okay. Oh, geez, good thing I read that. Oh, oh, wow, that's crazy.
Oh, there's
Oh.
3 ancient dragons in
Holy
here.
shit.
I thought it was just one.
They were not supposed to be here.
What level are you guys? So no, you guys. So you enter this hall, and in front of you, you can see the several Aaracokra, and there is one in particular that kind of like strides forward. Looks like that. You're fairly certain that it is a female, and she's got just like bright, unlike the others that are like multicolored, she has like bright, kind of like reddish brown plumage.
Cool.
Did she gear up in Burning Crusade? She looks like she is.
Mismatched?
Yeah, the multicolored clown gear. Kind of.
What do you mean?
Alright,
She's wearing
she's
blue
alright.
robes.
The green spear, and it's the color combo, the yellow, the blue,
Yellow boots.
blue, red.
Those
Yeah,
aren't boots, those are her feet.
She's got normal feet.
yellow, red.
They're off of a bird
Very
box.
primary colors. It's very Burning Crusade era looking.
She destroys you. No, just kidding. No,
Roll
she-
edition.
Yeah, she steps forward. Tybalt kind of like kneels in front of him. His wings are kind of like folded up behind him, and kind of gestures upwards with his hands, and he says, he kind of like gives you a bit of a motion to kind of like just like wait for a second.
Hmm.
I kneel.
And he says something in a language.
Was I able to complete my? Has it been an hour? Comprehend?
It has it been an hour? Probably not yet.
Alright. Because it depends on how long we bathed for and how long
you bathed for.
Does anybody speak Oran? Just in general?
So close to my name, though.
No, I don't think anybody speaks it natively, right?
Is that Loxodon?
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, so Archie, you can understand, and he basically says, he kind of kneels and he says, blessings of the sky, teacher. These strangers come seeking wisdom, and he kind of like gestures towards Aelin, and he says, this one speaks of training. They seek your blessings. They have cleansed themselves, as is our custom. She kind of nods, and then she kind of like looks over at you, Archie, and then like kind of pointedly, and then looks down, and she says, thank you, Tybalt. And she's saying this in Orin as well. And she says, do you believe we can trust them? And Tybalt says, they have not shown any hostility. I do not believe they are in league with the Dwellers. And then she nods, she's like, Sun Preserve. And he nods back, Sun Preserve. And then she turns, she's like, I am Ashara. This is my sanctuary. I grant you leave to stay with us. I do expect you to earn your keep while you are amongst us. Simple things, chores, dishes, sweeping, laundry. Make no trouble, do no violence. And then she goes and kind of like gestures and to the symbol on the floor. She says, "This is a sacred place. This monastery is one of the few remaining bastions of our faith. I expect you treat it with the reverence that it deserves."
Yes. Yes. Of course.
It's like, "Good then. Make yourselves comfortable." And she kind of like points over to the side of the room, and she says, "There are chambers there. They are simple, but should suffice. We have no others guests staying with us, so you are free to use them. We eat at sunup and sundown. There's simple fare." And she points to the room you came in. It's like, "Meet there, and your needs will be met."
Thank you. Like when that was like needs will be met. She was talking about like food. Is what she meant. Oh. Thank you for allowing us to stay.
As far as earning keep, I'm a pretty handy cook. I could help with preparation of meals.
And she nods. She's like, "Very well. 2 hours before sunrise. While you won't be useful in gathering the materials, you can certainly help the cooks in preparation."
That sounds wonderful.
If we seek to speak to or like look into knowledge of things, are we free to ask who we will, or should we see somebody about those types of needs?
Kind of looks at you, and she's like, "If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, you may find that here. Feel free to speak as you will. We are under no oaths of silence."
Okay.
Then she kind of points. She's like, "This hall is used for prayer when the sun is highest in the sky each day. You are welcome to attend, but if you are not a believer, you are not welcome to participate." And then she kind of points above. She's like, at the stairs leading up. She's like, "There is a shrine you may visit there, should you wish. But beyond," and she kind of like points upwards at like a door you can just kind of barely see at the top. She's like, "Beyond there is off limits, unless invited."
Okay.
And she's like, "I have teachings and I have duties that I must attend." She's like, "Acclimate yourselves and feel free to contemplate the sky from here." And she kind of points to the balcony. And then she kind of walks and she turns and says to T-Bolt, she's like, in Orin, she's like, "Ensure they do not kill themselves." And then she kind of like steps off the balcony and like wheels away. And T-Bolt nods. He's like, "You have permission to move about as you will. This level or lower is open to you." He's like, "At sundown, we will have our meal. We will speak more then. And he kind of walks and steps off the balcony as well. Doesn't wait for you to respond either. Like just kind of.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Oh.
you. Well, I guess you can ask about training at sundown.
Yeah, I think that I'd stand up. Yeah, I think that would that'll probably be a good time for that.
Okay.
Gorthax kind of like takes the shawl off his head, blows out the candle he's holding. Or no, did he take a candle?
He didn't.
He did
No, he
not
didn't
take
take a candle. Right.
No. He
He
blows out someone else's candle.
he takes the shawl off and he's like, not really a chatty bunch, are they?
Well,
They seem, that seems like they've got their ways about them, and
Yeah.
I will
haven't been to
translate
many-
what
You
I
haven't been to
heard.
many monasteries, have you?
I will
Nah.
shorthand the extra bit that I overheard. That it seems like they're cautious of something they call the dwellers.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
they may be, wanting to make sure they can trust us for
that's fair.
anything.
Fair.
I don't know. Can I just look around this room just to see if anything interesting stands out, or they said believers? Is that did that seem to mean uptown or a different? Is there any other symbology in here or anything
In
else?
here, the only symbol at all is the symbol of Uptown. Otherwise,
That's the
it's
one on the floor?
completely on the floor. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's no paintings. There's no furniture. There's literally nothing else in this hall.
Would it be rude to trace it?
I mean,
I think
I know
maybe.
it. I know the symbol of Uptown and stuff off by heart. If you want me to it's a god and stuff like that and stuff that
Sure.
I worship and all that stuff. So if you really need to know the symbol, I know it off by heart.
Oh, we know the symbol of Abdao because we keep
meant-
seeing it everywhere.
Yeah,
I
she
meant
tracing the maze.
tracing the maze on the symbol.
'Cause
Oh,
that tends to do things.
Because when we've done that in the past, it's shown us things, or I just don't. Maybe I'll
I
wait.
feel like that
and
may be
ask.
one of those things that's off limits.
yeah. If you're
Here.
not a follower,
Okay, they said believer.
I think that they're
I know he exists.
I think that
so
they're
does that
implying
mean?
that
Would-
he is your.
I see.
Why don't you ask? You always ask. At dinner.
Yeah, that's true. I was nervous. I didn't want to say say something to get us kicked out. This is your territory, Aelin. Why weren't you speaking?
I mean,
You know monastery.
and you know Uptow better than I do. I mean, I think we're all in uncharted territory right now. I'll say we definitely didn't have such regimented schedules, and if people wanted to come and pray to the Silver Flame, we didn't not let people do that.
Okay, so we're not. If we're not follower, if he's not our one true god, I mean, there's a lot of gods. I believe in a lot of. Anyway, Donovan, you said Ubtao is your
You're
deity?
a follower.
You
of
are a
Uptown.
follower of Ubtao?
I am, yes, and stuff like that.
Okay.
Of Uptown and stuff like that. Stuff. Most of the totals and stuff like that and stuff are.
Okay.
It's one of the ones, and so like saying Umberlane and stuff like that as well is another one, but Uptown and stuff is a big deity and stuff of ours.
Okay. Well, maybe they'll take more of a shine to you.
Like I said, I plan on stuff on joining them on stuff in the, I don't know what they call it, a ritual or just what you got, the people on stuff that are believers on stuff, they're allowed to stay here on stuff during the ceremony, whatever on stuff. I plan to stick around on stuff and join on stuff on that. And it's kind of weird and so yeah, because they have Uptown here on stuff, but we saw another symbol on the way here of an evil type god, didn't we? The one with the lightning.
Talos.
and so like that. So that's kind of concerning also that they would have both,
Well-
and so like one that's even so like that, and then Uptown also who is, I guess so.
Well, question for DM. The 21 I rolled on Akkadi, that symbol, she's a primordial. Is she evil? Or is she, like, do I know her rough alignment?
Let me just check, because I don't think she is. No, she is true neutral.
Okay. Yeah, so it might just be that because, like, we know Ubtao was, like, he was the leader of the primordials, right? And he made a deal but wasn't he initially, like, he was a primordial, wasn't he?
I think so, but I don't know if he was the leader.
With the well, but I mean, like, he was one of the primordials, right?
I think so.
It's possible that they just worship all of them. You know, that they have reverence for the whole
old-
pantheon of primordials, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word.
Sean, you would know that, yeah, Ubtao is, like, in Chult anyways, like, Chult as a whole was granted to Ubtao as his domain, free from the gods after the Dawn War. Like, that's
Right.
common knowledge, not common knowledge, but that's known to worshippers of Ubtao. In exchange, he defeated, or the myth goes that he, during the Dawn War, betrayed the other primordials by sealing Dendar the Night Serpent beneath, basically in a prison, and that turned the tide of the Dawn War. That's why he's known as the Betrayer or the Deceiver, because he turned his back on the other primordials, and the gods in turn, after they won the war, granted him dominion over Chult in exchange for him. Sorry?
The other gods were supposed to, like, stay away from it, right?
Yeah, they gave the land of Chult to Ubtao in exchange for him basically maintaining the prison, essentially. So yeah, Ubtao was granted dominion over the entire, like, peninsula of Chult, free from the other gods' influence. So long as he maintained the bargain that the other gods wouldn't tread on his domain, he would maintain his vigil, essentially.
So how does he fit in with the ones like Umberlee and Cassith and Talos and all those? The primordials that are clearly, like, Donaquin follows Umberlee as well. So how do the primordials fit in with Ubtao? This would be Archie asking Donaquin basically about his religion and how those two things fit together. If he betrayed the primordials, but you guys also worship primordials and Ubtao, like,
yeah, I mean, they're all beings of vast power. Chult was never off limits to the primordials, just the gods. So
I guess my question is, like, did they get along? Or is it like worshiping two different, separate things at the same time?
I mean, like all religions, there's people that fight amongst themselves, and other people that follow one and not the other, or some follow multiples. That
Yeah, because we follow on of Umberlee and stuff like that as well as Uptown. Not just Uptown and stuff like that. But I'm sure some totals and stuff like that would choose one over the other for particular reasons. But where I'm from and stuff like that, also, we worship both. And they probably, other ones probably worship even different ones and so like that, not just those ones. But
So is Umberlee neutral as well?
Umberlee is chaotic evil.
Okay, so
just like Talos is chaotic evil.
Okay, so them having an evil one necessarily might not bother you, since you also follow an evil primordial.
How well do we know Donna Quinn?
Archie's just like,
Why were you in that cage?
I'm getting these confused. Aren't I?
Nope.
I'm not getting confused?
Nope. Umberlee's the god of the
Oh,
sea.
I'm thinking Sokola. Okay.
Yeah, Sokola is the devourer. And the funny thing is, both Umberlee and Sokola are both chaotic evil deities, but they hate each other. And the followers, yeah. But the thing is, unlike Lolth, like Lolth literally demands evil of her followers. Just because the primordials are evil doesn't mean people who follow them are evil.
Yeah.
It was more of a joke.
I mean, as far
Because
as
Donna Quinn is clearly not evil.
as far as I know, as far as Brad knows, like there are temples and stuff to quote unquote evil deities in like major cities and stuff.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
it's not like you go there and it's black and it's full of murderers and
I mean, it might be.
Maybe, but
yeah. Well, and it's kind of like if you think about like the Greek pantheon, right? Like you would probably consider Ares and Hades and stuff probably maybe like evil. But they still worship. But they still worship them. Sometimes to ward off evil, you put offerings to. And just like Asmodeus, for example, in like the Faerunian pantheon, he's literally the god of evil. But you would probably find shrines to Asmodeus, like Brad said, alongside shrines to Helm and Lathander and everybody else, because just because the god's evil doesn't mean you don't pay reverence, because A, you don't want to get on his bad side, and it's more of a way of warding off bad things happening to you than it is worshipping them directly,
Man, I'm really down with what they're about. Like,
and alternately, as you guys have seen with like the Order of the Gilded Eye, you can worship lawful good gods and still be awful people sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So it's vice versa. It's the same.
Yeah, and when it comes to elemental things, it doesn't like evil and good. At least from my perspective, sort of tend to be a little bit blurrier as well. Like
because unlike the gods are and like angels and demons and devils, they're cosmically aligned to those alignments. Elementals aren't cosmically aligned.
Right.
Like they're not held to evil because they're embodiments of evil.
Is a hurricane evil? It's destructive and terrible force, but it's part of nature. So is it like, I feel like the primordials sort of tend to go along those paths more.
And those kind of things, like Talos and Umberlee in particular, that's exactly it. They are forces of nature that happen to cause widespread death and destruction when they happen. So they're evil, but that doesn't mean they are like out to get you.
Just because you are a bad guy doesn't mean you are a bad guy.
Yeah. And plus there's other aspects too, like evil isn't their domain, right? They're not like evil for the sake of evil, but like Umberlee, like Sean's people, they would know that she embodies aspects of like that destructive force of like storm and typhoons and whirlpools and all that kind of stuff. But she also embodies things like I'm sure there's some good qualities.
Like fish.
And,
well, I mean,
she's the queen of the depths, the goddess of the ocean, the wave mother.
Things like Gulf streams and stuff, that weather patterns, and that all ties into growth and agriculture and
you get it. You get it.
Stuff too.
Yeah.
I feel you. Okay, cool. Now that we've settled that.
Now that we know that Donna Quinn is pure evil, forward.
Pure chaos.
Only half.
It's
Wait a minute.
My
Donna
shell.
Quinn
My shell is evil.
has a D and a W. Dweller.
Oh no.
You've cracked the code of my name.
Does that term make me like? Does that dweller? Does that?
I think it's too generic for you to know anything.
Too generic,
yeah. I mean, dweller literally means like someone who's living somewhere. I could be a dweller in my apartment, right? So, Without more context, there's really nothing you could glean from that word, I don't think, unless you had heard it
At least
somewhere else.
At least we know it's not us, because we don't live anywhere.
True.
What do they call it? Nomads?
Nomad Sky.
Okay, well, I'm gonna... If I'm not gonna trace the thing, I'm just gonna go, like, sit and look at the sky.
I'm gonna claim a room.
That's probably
Yeah,
smart.
I'm gonna
Put my stuff in a room.
Set all my shit down, take off this
Put Gerald in there.
chainmail, get comfy for a little bit, rest my feet. And
Yeah,
travel
the
nonstop
side,
for 10 days.
yeah, the side hallway has like very small, probably like 10 by 10 rooms. Like they're not large at all. They've got simple cots, and like a footlocker that's empty. Other than that, a couple hooks on the walls, and that's it.
This is familiar.
They do have small, very small windows. Not enough you could actually get out. Just kind of these very small, no glass kind of windows with shutters on the inside to keep out the light. And they have a single like lamp, that about 3/4 full of oil or so, to light at night. There is, there's enough small rooms for that you guys wouldn't have to bunk up,
Okay.
and they're all empty.
I'll leave Gerald and I'll put my hat with my bird on Gerald, and I'm just gonna put my bird.
Brad, did you get my note? I whispered you.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry.
Okay, I just wanted to.
I will. I'll kind of take a closer look. See, or do I notice anything more about them? Like, is it an Aaracokra?
At first you think that it is, like maybe like a Aaracokra child, because he's got like feathers and like a beak and stuff. But as you kind of peer up, you kind of like notice that he notices you noticing him, and he kind of like looks up, and when he does so, you realize that the beak and feathers and stuff on his head is like some sort of like headdress or hat that's styled to look like an Aaracokra, but is in fact a small Chalton boy, and he kind of like gasps when he sees you and like takes off up the stairs.
That scares children.
Did I? Yeah. Okay. That was odd. Well, yeah, and I would probably just continue to the room.
I'm gonna bring the spyglass, one of the spyglasses. I'm just gonna like sit in the open archways, like just in the edge one, and I'm just gonna look out. Just in general, with the spyglass, see if there's anything interesting in that generalness. And appreciate the view. That's what I'll do until dinner. Or until something else comes up.
Okay.
And eventually, once Baz is settled, they probably hang out until around 2 hours before the time he thinks it's dinner time, and you will find someone to ask where the kitchens are.
Okay. What's Jonah up to? Anything in particular?
Oh no, he's frozen.
Oh, I saw him blink.
Oh.
John?
Hello?
Weird.
John.
I'm back.
Oh,
Hi.
hi.
Hey.
Oh, won't do anything before dinner. Nothing special before dinner,
Okay.
if that was the question.
Yeah, I was just making sure.
I appreciate it.
Alan, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think once he settled in the room, he would just set his candle down, take a little pinch of the powdered silver, and just make the candle flame silver. And then I think he's just gonna sit and kind of cross-legged on the floor, just kind of taking in the space, I guess, and just sort of meditating, but not really with any kind of goal in mind. Just being.
Mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, in your room or in the main room?
In the room.
In
my room. Yeah.
your room. Okay.
And by my room, I mean the big room.
In the room that we were not allowed to go to up top.
Oh, okay.
That's my room.
Yeah.
And what's Gorthax will probably just like put his stuff in the room or whatever, and then like I don't know, just kind of like finds a place to relax and kind of like sits against the wall.
Finds a dark corner.
Yeah, a bit away from the sunlight and just kind of like revels in the darkness.
Waits for the sun to go down.
Yeah.
He put the shade over like the tiny window. It's like
Yeah.
it's not even that much light coming in, but it's like that's too much.
Too much. Sean, what are you doing? Anything?
Did they say stuff that the ceremony thing also was before or after dinner?
It's at noon.
It's at noon, so you guys missed it for today.
Oh, okay. So I'll just stay in that same room and so like that also and just kind of meditate off to the not in the center of the room and so like that. Actually, I'll sit right in the center of the room.
Sure. We're in the center of the maze.
Right, which thing and up toe and just kind of meditate and all stuff and be calm.
Be calm. Well, it is calm. However, a few hours later, Baz is like, "Can't take it anymore. I gotta go find the kitchens. It's almost dinner, and I must help." And you wander off, and you find a Aaracokra. You're not. It's not easy to tell what the Aaracokra males and females apart if you're not super familiar with them. But you think it might be a man. He's rather small though, and has like kind of like red and green feathers. He's not though. All the ones that kind of greeted you, when T-Bolt first came up, they were all like larger. Like I should also be fairly specific. The ones with the spears and like T-Bolt himself, they're probably like 7 feet tall. They're not like little bird men. They're like pretty well muscled, like larger. But the rest of them that you've seen here are like normal Aaracokra sizes, which is about 5 feet tall, kind of smaller. So it seems you don't know if it's by virtue of if they're different species or not, but it seems like the warriors are of a different like physiology almost, and they're the ones with the brighter plumages and more parrot-like features. But anyways, the one that you find is smaller. He's about 5 feet tall. Just kind of green and blue plumage. When you ask him about the kitchens, he kind of like gives you a bit of an odd look, and he's like, "Kitchens. Here," and he kind of like gestures around to the room with the table and the stool. He's like, "We prepare everything here before the meals. Meal preparation is done in the early hours before dawn. It is not a task that is done in the light of the sun."
Oh, I see. I'm a pretty good cook, if I do say so myself. So if you'd like any assistance or help or anything, just let me know.
And he nods. He's like, "Yes." And he points towards one of the cupboards. He's like, "You can set the places and he points over, and there's like some like cloths and rags with like a bowl, with like a sponge next to it. And he's like, and the floors could use scrubbing.
Sure. Yeah.
And then he kind of like points over at the table. He's like, and you could polish the tabletop dust. And then he kind of like points over to one of the stools. It's like looks like it's kind of like rickety, and he's like, that stool leg needs. I don't know if you have any skill with carpentry, but it requires some repair as well.
Okay.
He's like, and of course there'll be dishes afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
He nods. He's like, very well, thank you so much.
great,
And he's like, thank you so much. And he kind of like goes out and like goes out the side door, kind of leaving you in this room.
They don't even have to like just do it because it's a great way to leave a room. Yeah, Basil will start setting table. We'll clean off table and start setting it based on those directions.
Sure. Yeah, so you got the others that are close, but you guys can hear like clattering of bowls and things as Baz, you like in the cupboards. It's like full of like porcelain and like clay bowls and plates and like cutlery and everything. So there's like plenty there. There's only 10 spots around the table, but yeah, there's like wash water and scrubs and brushes and stuff. So if you busy yourself for a while setting it up,
I busy myself just making everything nice and presentable.
Okay. Probably about another, maybe like an hour and a bit later, Baz, you're probably finishing up. It's looking pretty good. Suddenly there is out from outside. You see T-Bolt kind of swoop down and just kind of like land on the balcony near where you're sitting.
It scares the crap out of Archie because about an hour and a half ago, she dozed off against the against the arch. She was leaning against it and just sort of like dozed off.
And he kind of like walks over, just kind of like glances at you, kind of sitting there, and then walks over to the symbol and makes a few gestures, and then he turns and enters the like the side hall, near where the rooms are that you guys have all set up, and kind of just wanders down, like basically just opening the doors and seeing what's in what room. Kind of goes through them, sees Alien. Your door just opens. The doors don't have locks, by the way. Door just opens, and you're sitting there meditating. And he kind of like looks down, kind of stops for a second, and then gives you just a quick nod and closes the door and leaves. After he's done like inspecting, he'll walk back into the main room, and then he just kind of just announces kind of like loudly, he's like, "We eat." Shortly after that, there is a couple smaller Aaracokra swoop down, just with like these big baskets in their hands, and they carry them over into the now spick and span looking like kitchen area, and they just walk over and they kind of glance and kind of give you some odd looks, Baz. Then like looking around at the room, they kind of nod to each other, and then they put the big baskets down on the table and lift the lid and start pulling out like all sorts of like different fruits and like smaller baskets of like nuts and things. Notably, there is no meat whatsoever. It's just like fruits and grains and nuts and things and berries and stuff. And they just start like putting them down in the bowls that you've laid out. And then T-Bolt just kind of stands there with his arms crossed, just kind of watching them. And then when it looks like they're almost done, he kind of like just kind of like gives like a quick like clap. He's like, "You will leave," and they kind of bow to him and just take off the balcony. And he's like, and he kind of gestures to you all. He's like, "Sit, eat. Teacher will speak to you after the meal."
I will do that.
Gladly.
And he grabs what looks to be like some sort of like reddish fruit, just kind of like chomps on it with his beak, kind of like crushes it with a couple chomps, and then takes off and jumps off the balcony again.
Bye.
Yeah, leaving you with a very nice looking spread, but nothing. No, it's all like raw food. There's nothing cooked, no meat, no dairy or cheese of any sort that you can see. Just
I mean, this would be like a $20 or $30 meal in LA. Like the whole raw
Farm to
raw
table.
Well, after having rations the last couple of days, I think this is lovely.
Yeah, this is great. I'm down.
Fresh fruit. It's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of protein in nuts.
These nuts.
I mean, just any nuts, really.
Archie just snickers to herself as she eats her thing.
Got him.
Nailed it.
She's never very good at
Ron was like,
jokes.
I don't get it.
so you
see,
you all partake of the meal.
Yeah.
Good. Roll
Hope
it's
Constitution.
I
I
hope
mean,
it's not poison. Maybe they've drugged
Cinderberry.
us.
Cinderberry. Start out the meal with a Cinderberry. That's my new motto.
Oh,
Yeah, and as far as drink, there's just like pictures of like just water. There's no wine or ale or juice or anything like that.
Oh, but
It's
we
just-
could
It's
make
just kind of like
some.
room temperature water.
Room temperature water.
Oh man, we could get some mayonnaise. Dip the fruit
Add
in
some mayonnaise on these nuts.
Nuts and mayo. Yum.
Ugh.
You could get honey though, out of the jar.
Oh, that would be delicious.
Honey nut, honey
Little
nut
drizzle of
cherries.
honey. Yeah, over the
Little-
fruits
little
and nuts.
drizzle.
That'd be great.
Make a little muesli. Is that what it's called?
You like smoosh all the nuts and seeds together with the honey to make like a little granola bar.
A furious-looking Ashara comes in. How dare you bring this blasphemous honey? No, she does come in though.
That which
as
the
you guys
bees collect.
yeah, as you guys are kind of like grazing and eating this fruit and nuts. I don't know. It's probably actually pretty filling. Nuts are actually pretty filling. But
Yeah.
yeah, she'll enter, still wearing her blue robes from earlier, or blue clothing, and she kind of like sits at the end of the long table, kind of like looks over the six of you, and she's like, "Well,
Good evening.
I hope you've settled in, and I hope you're enjoying this meal, for it will be your last." Until the
tomorrow.
Of the day.
Until
Dramatic
Right.
pause of the day.
Yeah, it's delicious.
thank you very much.
She nods. She's like, "It's a simple food, but it is our palates are not as diverse as some of you. We get by with just the
A little help.
natural bounty of the earth. I know your kind often looks to the sea or to the animals to provide, but we don't have much of that up here."
No, we've been traveling for quite a while and living off the land, and this is a bountiful and lovely feast.
And she kind of like Aaracokra don't have lips, so it's hard to tell whether she's smiling, but she gets kind of this look on her face that looks
smiles her
happier than she
eyes,
was.
Opens her mouth.
Just kind of like clicks her tongue a couple times. And she's like, sorry. What was she gonna say? I'm thinking about like, how do Aaracokra smile? I can't. How do birds smile? Do they just kind of like open their mouth like? Eh? Anyways, she says, yes, you've traveled far to be here. I must ask, you came seeking knowledge, you come seeking training, wisdom. What exactly do you seek here? What do you want of us? And why should we help you?
We were traveling with a friend of ours who spent some time here. Masika? Does she have a last name? Archie would know.
Narissa. Masika Narissa. If she did, she didn't tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
She nods. She's like, Masika, the girl yet lives.
She was traveling with us, but she decided to stay up at Mazro for the foreseeable future. But she pointed us in your direction. Our path leads us towards Oralunga to speak with the guardian there, and she said that you may have some knowledge that could help us in that regard, and so we decided to heed her wisdom and come and seek you out.
She kind of looks over at you, and she's like, and why do you seek the guardian? What purpose do you wish to enter Oralunga? It is a sacred place. We pilgrimage there on occasion.
Our final destination is actually the lost city of Omu.
And she kind of like hisses. She's like,
exactly.
She's like, you will not speak that name here. Silence your tongue.
Apologies. We didn't realize that it was that was a offensive thing.
She's like, no, you couldn't have known. Of course, no. She's like, but do not speak that name, lest you draw his eyes. Not here, not in these sacred halls.
His eyes?
She nods.
Who do you mean? If you're at will to say.
She seems like a little more hesitant to talk, and she's like, I will answer no more of your questions until you answer some of mine. Why do you seek to go to that forbidden place? What purpose do you have? And
do I get the impression?
Why should I trust you?
Do I get the impression that I'm not supposed to talk again?
I don't know what kind of impression you might get.
She did say that she wants you to answer questions.
Well, and that's what I'm asking. Is she, when I said the name, she said silence your...
You think
so
she specifically was referring to like when you said Omu, not like shut up entirely.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Well,
So,
now you do. Good old insight.
Yeah. A friend of ours has had visions that lead him in that direction. As well, we have a belief that the curse upon those that have died previously is also connected to that place, and our goal would be to put a stop to whatever it is that is causing this. Whatever or whomever.
It's like visions. What type of visions? You cannot trust visions here in Chult. You never know who could be sending them.
They originated while he was still back home. I would go into as a basic description, I guess, of the visions that he had and where he believed they came from.
Dreams, then.
Yeah.
And have you all had dreams?
I've had of a different nature. I have.
I mean,
She kind of like looks at the rest of you as well.
I mean,
not the same, but
I mean, I've had dreams before, but
I think of like a
Of like a-
prophetic nature.
I don't think so. But I have a hard time remembering my dreams. You know, if sometimes you wake up and you're like, what was I? And then like 10 seconds later, you're just hungry.
I would describe the one I had of Uptown and Mesro, given how connected they are to Uptown. Maybe she can shed some more any other light on. So I would mention that. I wouldn't mention that I had it as well, though, unless he decides to volunteer that.
So she's still looking at Baz a bit. She kind of turns from Baz and like looks over at Jonah.
I had a bad dream with a evil witch. Does that count?
It's like,
Was it a hag?
that does count. She kind of looks up at Donaquin. Dreams? Have you had these, Child of Umberly?
I don't, Corey. I don't remember if my guy did like that or if it was just stuff from my master.
Yeah, just your master.
Me personally, I have not had any type of dreams that have stood out also, but my master also had dreams also of this land.
It's like, your master. Who do you speak of? Aha, it's a test for Sean.
Master Splintcraw.
Ah. It's like, I wondered if the old man still lived. He must be what? Going on 900?
He is very old. You might know him also by Mudcraw, though.
Yes. Yes, we've met. Interesting that he is having dreams as well. And he kind of like looks over at Gorthax, and Gorthax is just like chewing on like a pear. He's just like, hey, don't look at me. I just met these people. No dreams here. Well, dreams at home. And then she kind of like glances over at Aelin.
Yeah, I shared the dream of Ubtao with my sister.
And these dreams, you've gotten them all since you've been here? Or did you said your companion had it before? The rest of you, were these before you came to this land?
No.
Ours.
No.
Not honest. And the hag one was after as well.
My master's was before. My master's dreams were before I came. Was the reason I came to this land because of his.
She kind of nods. She's like, well, if you should have any dreams while you're here, you will tell us immediately and perhaps help you interpret. But, as I said, dreams are not to be trusted. Not in this land. There are those who would seek to manipulate. And dreams are a pathway to your subconscious. And she kind of like looks at you all again. She's like, so you seek the forbidden place, and you seek an end to the death curse. I've heard of it. Hasn't afflicted us here, but that's not to say it couldn't. Still don't see exactly why I should help you. It's particularly if you perhaps are being led along by others who may wish harm upon us here at the monastery. And then she kind of thinks for a bit. Says, no, I can't put my people in danger. No, not again. I'm sorry, I cannot help you.
So, us talking to the Guardian puts your people in danger? Is that correct?
It's like, I can't be certain that you're not on a path set forth for you by others, drawing you along. I can't trust that while your goals may seem benevolent or benign, that they aren't part of a greater threat that you perhaps are not even aware of. No, if you've been having these dreams, and I can't be certain that you act of your own volition, even subconsciously.
Is there any way for us to perhaps earn your trust or prove intentions, perhaps?
I'll have to consult some of the old texts. There may be a way to ensure that you are not tainted, or to cleanse you should you be.
Because I'd like to know if I was. I don't, obviously I don't want to be acting not of my own volition, or at least from an untrustworthy source.
She kind of like looks at you, Archie, and kind of looks over at Aelin as well. She's like, you feel familiar to me.
Oh god, okay, Archie's.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yes, I will consult the texts. As I said, you're free to stay here. Upon the morrow, I will return. We can see if there is something you can do.
Okay.
Well, we really appreciate that. Is there anything else around this place that could use some help or assistance?
She's like, any of the servants will have chores. Assist as you may. And then she kind of stands and she's like, I must contemplate this sunlight is fading, and with it, well, speak again upon the rise. And she kind of like goes to move out of the room. She turns and she's like, think very hard on whether you truly want to pursue this path. There have been others, and I've not known many to, nothing good can come of that place. Like, think on it, contemplate, and then she opens the door and kind of like goes back out to the main room. She's like, good night, and then she walks over to like the lantern that's kind of in between where the two archways are, and just kind of like snuffs it out, and then like hops off the balcony.
Ah, crap! I forgot to ask about the Brotherhood. The Yellow Banners, whether they came through here. Son of a... Guess tomorrow.
Well, perhaps you could ask Tribal.
Yeah, maybe if we see him sooner.
So, I think she convinced me. I think we should all go home.
Well,
That's a convincing argument. We do have dreams.
even if we didn't go to Omu, I'd still want to follow Artis and his stuff.
Well, and the dreams weren't the only source of direction towards Orlunga.
What else was?
The crocodile.
The crocodile said to seek the Guardian. I forgot about that. I panic in front of authority figures.
To be fair, none of us spoke up about it either.
Well, yeah, no, I'm speaking more to Jonah's point. I think even if the dreams are nothing or a misdirection, we have it from more than one source.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
So it's getting dark. The sun is definitely going down.
All right.
Is there anything else you guys want to do? There's nobody
Yeah,
else
before
around.
we get
right
up,
now.
I am going to eat the silver shelf mushroom.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ. I love you, Jonah.
Wait, Jonah, where'd you... Oh. You can't just put things... He's like a toddler.
Was no one watching him?
You eat the mushroom. No saving throw required.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to send the
You're
berries.
just dead.
It's almost kind of sweet and like peppery in taste. Does not taste at all as foul as it smells. Upon eating it, kind of a warmth kind of like spreads through you. Not like the raya fruit warmth, but just kind of like it's a general. It's like if you take a big shot of like whiskey, like that kind of like warmth in your belly. You even though like you just feel cooler. Not like cooler, like Fawn's
What's
cool,
up,
but
y'all?
you feel you just feel like cooler, like the heat just isn't touching you nearly as much. You gain
that's
fire
cool.
resistance. It only lasts an hour, so it fades rather quickly, but it gives you fire resistance.
Cool.
Cool.
Is that another thing that we can add to our table?
Yeah.
How many did I harvest? I guess 2?
Yeah, I guess it would be 2. Yeah, because of your ability, you would have been able to. I'll add to the table when I figure out how to add to the table.
Sure.
So the Google Doc had like, how do you actually add an extra line? I don't know.
Just be able to just right click and...
I don't know. Oh yeah, there's an add column. Okay. Oh, there's an add insert row. Okay. I'll add it. I'll add it later. But yeah. It only grows in rocky or terrain or foothills, or hills or hilltops. Because apparently I use multiple words to mean the same goddamn thing.
Sure.
Well, actually, it grows somewhere else as well, but you've not encountered that terrain at all.
Swamp!
Bog.
Bog. Sorry.
It's actually
desert.
wetland or fen.
Frick.
Bayou.
Bog.
Marshland.
Bayou.
So, anything else you want to do tonight?
Archie would want to speak with Aelin before going to sleep.
Okay.
So she said we seemed familiar. You think she knows our mom?
Maybe, or knows. I mean, maybe not personally, but knows of our lineage.
Yeah. Like, do you think that's something we should tell her? Like, maybe that would get her to trust us? Or is that something you think we shouldn't tell anybody ever?
I think we should avoid telling that to anybody, but Masika trusted these people, and as far as I'm concerned, she had a greater connection to Mesro than we did.
Yeah.
And I think if she trusted them, I think that's safe. But I don't know. I think if it comes to it, and if there's no avoiding it, I don't think it's wrong to do it. And I think if it's our last chance of making sure that we can figure out what we need to figure out, then I think it's worth saying. But
Okay, but like leave it to the end.
Yeah, it seems
Last
like
ditch.
it just tends to draw attention.
Sure.
We've already got a lot of attention on us.
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you think we were born in Mesro?
I mean, I would.
Do you think we were born here? Are we actually Chilton? I mean, kind of, because our mom isn't.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I was from here.
No, but it's kind of like, if you're born somewhere, you have like automatic citizenship.
What's citizenship?
Is that how that works?
Well, it's more like, so my thinking is if she knows and has met like Donovan's master, maybe she's really old too. Do I have any idea how old Aaracokra lifetimes are?
It'd be a nature check.
Boy.
Is there anything like real world birds?
Nope. So maybe they live a really long time too. So maybe she's been here since Mesro was like our next door neighbor. So like maybe she knew of the beret and stuff directly.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, it sounded like she knew of the one who was exiled.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's very possible. There's a lot of old people on this peninsula.
A lot of old people. It's like Florida in that regard.
So many olds.
I mean, we're not really from anywhere. So, like,
I mean, I'd say we're
we
from
may
the
as well be
Sword Coast.
from the place if we were born here. It's interesting. Wonder who our father is. Okay, good night. As she goes to ponder all of her weird thoughts. I wonder now.
Wonder.
Doing like fantasy family trees in your head.
Yes, like. Do we have any aunts or uncles? Do Beret have siblings?
I think, yeah, when Aelin goes to sleep, I think he would put the hood of Chorus up and have a bit of music while he drifts off.
That's
Peaceful sleep. It's very calm and quiet. Just the wind is pretty constant outside, but nothing else
However.
really happens in the night. However, in the pre-dawn hours, there is suddenly a very loud, reverberating, kind of like metallic boom that wakes you all from your slumber, 3 times in rapid succession. And you find your door is opened,
Ah,
and T-Bolt is there, and he says, "Teacher
Oh, hello.
requests your presence. It is morning. Come."
Yep.
yep. Yep. Yep. Up. I'm up.
And he kind of like stands around like impatiently out in the main room with this Ubtao symbol in the
Yeah.
dark. There's just the light from a flickering lantern. The sun hasn't even begun to rise yet.
I'm just gonna press the digitation to sleep from my eyes.
Oh god, that was fireball. Sorry.
I'm up and out there almost immediately.
I am groggy as hell.
Yeah.
He opens the door and Aelin's doing his morning push-ups.
Archie's just like got her glasses on, slightly
998.
crooked.
999. Oh, Tibble didn't see you there. Oh, sorry.
Now I gotta start over now.
Oh boy.
Lost count.
Got big hair. I'm just trying to like pat it down.
The humidity causes frizz.
Yep. Oh boy. That's why she wears a big hat most of the time.
Gorthax is kind of like, kind of walks out and he's like, traveling at night still. Excellent. Just making sure everybody gets up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, you might be like that, roll over and go back to bed. I don't know.
Yeah, Tanaquin just retreats into his shell.
It's like buttoned up my vest, one button out. So
Yeah,
where are they?
out when you guys have gathered, T-Bolt says, "Teacher has asked me to bring you to the testing ground. There we will see if your intentions are true."
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
I actually put my hat on with my bird in it.
And he walks over out to the. Actually, what's the weather like? Let me check here.
He jumps out the window and is swept away by the strong
Hurricane.
wind.
Oh, no! Just a burst of feathers. Oh no, T-Bolt!
No,
No wonder
never
there's like,
ask
no
him.
wonder there's like nobody here.
Shit. Yeah, it's a clear morning. There's very few clouds in the sky. In fact, you can still sort of see the bit of the moon and some twinkling stars. And as he hops off the balcony and just kind of like hovers a few feet off, you see that there are like 5 others. Some you're not sure, but they might be some of the same people that, or Aaracokra, that greeted you when you first arrived. And they begin with their kind of like throat singing kind of thing.
So cool.
And you see a kind of like a swirling of like air appearing in the air, like right off the top of the balcony.
Do I get the impression they're casting a spell, or is it
Just more
curious.
ceremony?
Or is it more like a natural ability they can do?
Well, I mean, it's some sort of like, it seems like a ritual, but it doesn't feel arcane to you.
Okay, fair enough.
But this kind of swirling being, it's kind of appears. You can barely see it because it's just like moving air in the darkness. And T-Bolt says, "Do not be afraid. It will ferry you to the grounds up above."
Ooh. Cool.
And
Come on, Gerald.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in.
Gorthax is like, "So we just step off into the night sky?" Is that
I'll
the
go
test?
first.
Is this the test?
I'll do it first since I can fly and featherfall. It's less terrifying for me. to
Archie is killed. Who's next? No, just kidding. Hurricane winds. No. Okay, Archie and
Archie and Gerald.
Archie and Gerald.
Hello.
Yeah, it reaches forward, grabs the two of you, and whisks you away.
Woo!
Maybe a minute later or so, it returns for the next two.
There I go.
Grabs Aelin and
Go.
Jonah, whisks you away. About a minute or so later, I'll describe what you guys all see.
Yeah,
But
go.
grabs whoever's next, Baz and Donaquin, whoosh, leaving. No, that's everyone, right?
Gorthax.
Unless
Oh yeah.
he wants to stay.
Unless Gorthax wants to stay behind.
Well, Gorthax thinks about it while you guys are all gone.
He's just like, I'm good.
It just walks away.
He's just like, I'm kind of more of an hireling. And grabs him and whisks him up there.
I don't really have intentions.
I was just on a ship. I was just
I have no real goals or motivations.
Yeah.
just
Kinda here.
a guy that the DM expected to die on the beach.
He might be able to hook up with the boat at Refuge Bay if they'll give him a lift over there.
Join their crew.
He could join their crew. He's got good experience.
Yeah. I guess he could do that.
If the boat's still there.
I just want you guys to go to the beach and find another wrecked boat.
Anyway.
Son of a bitch! Why? Every time!
Every time.
Jonah, why is your token being difficult?
Yeah, John.
Battle map.
I mean,
Jonah, I've still got this this potion that you gave me. Is it still good?
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
I also
No, it's not good.
I also
You guys-
experimental elixir swiftness. Is that
John,
Alright.
I've decided not to hand
got
them
an
out
off
anymore
smell
because you guys
to it.
just forget it. I'll just feed you next
Well,
time.
no, I didn't need it. This was back on the beach.
Oh, that's true. That was a while ago. Oh, it's not. Little rank.
I thought it was supposed to smell this way.
hold on. Getting there.
Holding. Excuse me.
Gerald, yeah, okay.
Gerald.
Yeah, roll.
Almost there.
Guys, it's already Tarsac.
No shit.
Oh my god, it's huge.
Every time I share a map. It's a pretty cool map though, right?
Awesome.
Oh.
Holy crap, this is a big map.
It's so
Wow.
cool, though.
Oh,
My.
look at all these birds.
So you guys are deposited at the bottom of some stone stairs. Once you're all there, they kind of like wind their way up, but they're not like rickety like wooden like on the side of the stairs. They're kind of like on the top of this plateau. They wind their way up. Nobody actually comes by to tell you to go up the stairs, but you kind of just get the sense that you're supposed to. When you reach the top, there is a wooden bridge with kind of a. It doesn't look too bad. It looks like it would hold you all pretty easily, and there's a large flat plateau with no railings or trees or anything like that. Just kind
Health
of
and safety nightmare.
You see ahead of you, arriving before you, T-Bolt is standing at the far side, and you can see, as you get to the top, the sun kind of begins to peek out over the horizon, bathing you all in a golden light. And you can see as well, Shara, as well as a few others, Aaracokras, are kind of spread out amongst. In front of you, you can also see that there is a large, looks like a carved like stone mosaic on the top of this stone bluff, with some sort of like sunburst symbol.
Does it look familiar?
It might. You could roll.
I know what it is.
Did you guys roll religion?
Oh, you must have cut out. It just
Oh,
said
did I?
you can roll.
You can roll.
You can
Pause for-
roll.
Pause for.
Oh,
Whoa! Totally show off.
It's like we were in another campaign or something that had this.
Wow! Look at you guys. Everybody knows the symbol, which just makes sense because it's not exactly the same, but the symbol is very reminiscent of the sun.
Seen this
If
before.
you didn't, Gorthax is like squinting. He's like, "Can we hurry up? The sun's coming." No. If you didn't know better, you would think that this is a symbol of Ilmater, one of the primary deities in the Forgotten Realms.
My turn.
He's an Ilmater.
Ilmater is known as... Wait. Ilmater is not the god I'm thinking of.
Oh boy.
Awkward.
Oh, gooey.
Oh my goodness, how could I get these two confused? Alminator, on the other hand, is...
Almanator.
Alminator, with your guys' fantastic rolls, I can't speak, was a greater deity, solar entity of the sun, law, time, and order. Also known as the Yellow God, the Keeper of the Eternal Sun, the Keeper of the Sun, the Light of the Law, the Keeper of the Golden Sun, and Atar the Merciless. Domains of life and light, for the most part. A neutral god, but a divine god nonetheless. This symbol is it's not exactly the same. Alminator's symbol typically is a perfectly round with like kind of golden spikes off of it. This is a little bit different because it's got like these wavy lines that almost look more like fire instead. So you're not 100% sure, but it's the closest thing you can think of as to like a holy symbol that it matches. Ashara kind of speaks, her voice carrying quite well over the distance, kind of like booming out almost. And she says, "Approach and take your place in the sun." And T-Bolt kind of stands off to the side.
Okay. Where do I want to take your place in the sun?
Vortex is like, "I can't really see." Oh,
I'm gonna, just for the sake of simplicity, assuming that this will be a combat encounter, I'm gonna be off to the side a little bit. So that when I grow big, I won't.
Just one at a time or as a group?
I think we would all move as a group.
With
I'm
Gerald.
asking in
oh, you're
character.
you're asking in
Oh.
character. She's like,
Oh,
she kind of gestures. She's like, "No, all of you."
Oh, okay.
I see Gerald's probably below me.
What?
I keep him between me and the closest whatever. No, Gerald!
Wait, like he's falling.
You gotta spin him while he does that too.
No, Gerald!
Oh, I can't spin and anyways.
My
Good times, good times. Do. You guys move forward, and as you do so, the sun creates a kind of an orangish glow over the whole area.
Yeah, I will toss to Aelin a potion in elixir and tell him to drink it.
Do it now.
Yeah, I'll drink it.
Okay, I'll put the effect on you.
Oh, this one went bad too.
Ashara kind of like waits for you all to be in place, and
Can I cast mage armor while I'm walking in?
sure.
Cool, because it's morning and I didn't have a chance to do it yet.
Ooh, I got a bless.
I bless you.
It bless me.
Ashara, the Aaracokra off to the side, did they just kind of like kneel down? Spears kind of like resting over their knees as they're kind of like kneeling. T-Bolt steps in front of the bridge. Arms crossed, just watching you all. Ashara steps forward and she says, "I have consulted with the princes of the sky and the dukes of Aka, and I have consulted the sacred texts, and under the light of the sun, I believe there is a way to cleanse you of any untoward influences you may be experiencing, to ensure that your souls are pure and ready to truly embrace the wisdom and knowledge that we offer. For this, you will be offered a test. Either a test of will, a test of pain, or a test of skill. Each of you must choose. When you're ready to make your choice, enter the circle." Jonah, you're standing in the circle, but I don't know if you're ready, if you want to step up.
I'm ready.
I will. No, I'll stay there, but I will cast Enhance Ability, Bear's Endurance on me.
Excellent. Bear's Endurance. Is that +4 Constitution?
Advantage on Constitution checks.
Oh, nice.
And 2d6 temporarily hit points.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Ashara kind of like looks at you, Jonah. She's like, "You will be the first."
I will choose pain.
And she nods, and she's
Are you
like,
sure? Oh.
and she kind of like glances at you, Baz, and she says, "Each must make their own choice."
Very well.
And then she says, "None of you may interfere, no matter what happens. If you do, you will be banished."
Like the spell, or
Like the spell. So come back in about a minute or so.
Yeah, it's really not so bad.
But that minute that you're gone, who knows what's happening?
Isn't it an hour?
Is it an
No.
hour?
No.
I can't remember.
I know
Or-
if you hold it for an hour, they're gone for good.
No, I think it's a minute.
I could,
I don't know.
maybe.
if they're from a different plane, you have to hold it for like an hour, and they're gone for good. Otherwise,
It's
I think
just the
they come back.
duration. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's
Uh,
probably an hour.
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute.
Yep.
Fair enough.
She kind of starts concentrating, and she starts very similar kind of like song, not as deep and like baritone as T-Bolt and the
Eating,
others, but they're just kind of like all 6 of them start kind of like this song, almost like singing. And Jonah, you feel the circle below your feet feels like maybe it's just the sun warming it as it gets slightly higher in the sky, but it's getting uncomfortably warm very quickly, and within moments you guys can see that the rocks have become like coals and like just glowing like red hot. Jonah, I need you to make, well, it's your choice. You can either attempt to a dexterity save to jump out before you get burned too badly, or you can try to endure the pain. You said pain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure. Oops, I described the wrong ritual. Or you can make a constitution check to try to endure the pain.
Constitution save or check?
Save, sorry.
So that thing I cast didn't do anything. That's cool.
Oh, is it only
Oh.
on checks? Oh,
It's only
shit.
on check. Oh well.
Sorry. Nat
Oh.
20!
Nailed
Jonah
it.
grits his teeth. I don't even feel it. Don't even feel it. Jonah,
Bring it on. Turn up the heat.
you take 3 points of fire damage. I need you to, as the air is kind of shimmering around you, getting even hotter, and your entire body is like feels like it's just like in an oven now, just glowing, and sweat's breaking out all over him. Give me another, either your choice, step out, or Constitution save again.
Do I have enough time to eat something?
Eat something?
Yeah.
Sure.
I would eat the fungus.
Oh, sure.
Well, there it is. That's what I was hoping for.
Jonah's just like,
Brad is
no
just
bother, I'll just have a
dying.
bit of breakfast here.
Brad has
Sure.
been sitting here like.
Well, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's fine. So you got resistance to fire now.
Great.
Now, if you don't step out, you still need to make the save.
Yeah. Okay. Constitution.
Come on, Jonah. Not
Nice.
bad, not bad.
9 for 2. 2 points of fire damage. As the intense heat, which you still feel it still hurts, but it's almost nothing to you, Jonah. You have 1 point of damage now. Because you had those 10 hit points.
I'll have to roll a Constitution check too.
Oh, is it concentration?
Yeah.
Oh. Not 1.
Fine.
No, you're fine.
It's fine.
It's a so I guess you needed one for the second time too then. Yeah.
And wouldn't you get advantage on it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it's a con save.
No, check concentration's a check.
Concentration is a con save.
It is a save.
Is a save?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Bear's endurance sucks. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's good if you're
Oh,
trying
I
to.
drop it. So I drop my 1 hit point.
Oh
Goes
no!
away
Okay. After you took the
No.
damage, it would have gone away
after
anyways.
you took the damage. Yeah.
Okay. It becomes intensely hot. The air is just like shimmering, and Jonah, your clothing and items aren't like melting or catching fire, taking any damage at all. But yeah, you are just like singeing standing there. Would you like to continue?
Yeah.
Okay, make a third and potentially final con
Oh.
save.
Final.
Potentially.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's success again. You take 5 points of fire damage. And afterwards it rapidly cools off and goes out. And she's like,
Oh.
"You are stronger than you look. You have passed the test."
Oh. Thanks.
You
That was easy.
you are
I go
relieved.
again later.
She kind of gives you a. I guess is that a smile?
Weird bird smile.
Weird bird smile.
Mouth open, eyes closed.
And she nods and she says, "Who is next?"
I would-
I'll go. I'll step into the middle.
He's like, "Choose skill, pain, or will."
Boy. Pain.
She nods. She's like, "Very well," and she starts singing. And as she starts singing, there is a strange kind of echoing cry that sounds almost like a raven croaking through the sky, through the clouds that kind of surround you. You can't see super far with the clouds and stuff. And something happens. You hear T-Bolt kind of say something that sounds very curse-like, but you're not sure exactly what he said because he said it in an Orin. But you do catch a word in common, and he says, "Dwellers." And you see some dark forms kind of flying out in from the clouds, and a loud kind of like very almost like metallic voice, like someone speaking over like an old radio or something, kind of like rings out loudly, and it says something. It says, in kind of a very awkward kind of like squeaky, like nasally voice, and you see some large, what looks to be, you're not sure if they're living creatures or they're made of stone, but they're these strange like four-winged, like raven-looking creatures with large horns. They're all perfectly like black and gray of like stone, but they move like they're living creatures. One of them seems to be speaking as they kind of are swooping down. There's about 10 of them in like a big cloud coming out of these clouds, and you hear a voice, and it says, "Tongue picked raw from gaping maw, blood from vein let fall like rain. Behold these eyes, your bloody prize, and now the fall from vaulted hall. These bones, this flesh, consume it all. Pazuzu! Pazuzu! Pazuzu!" And that is where we'll pick up next time.
Wow. The Zuzu.
Crazy ass bird.
Now, Baz, you can't leave that circle.
I won't. Well, the ritual hasn't started yet, right?
No, I think this is it. Yours is just a little different from mine.
Yeah, we can't interfere.
Fair
Here.
point.
They kill them all. We're like, sorry. Follow the rules.
Oh boy. This is the creepiest music.
Yeah, what is the weird
Circus of Freaks.
voice?
It's like a child.
Yeah, I want to see the pictures of these guys.
Oh, I have them. I don't have them in Fantasyground, so tune in next week and I'll have a nice little image to show you. Yeah, so we'll end the session here with whatever these things are. So why don't we do? I'm just gonna keep this music on loop because it's hilarious. Why don't we do our round table and see what people thought? Roses and thorns. I don't remember where we started last time. Why don't we start with Brad? Right in the middle. You're mute. Oh, I was gonna say you're muted, but you're not.
Well, good stuff. I liked meeting the Aaracokra and impersonating them smiling. Okay. Yeah, it was fun. I would say I can't think of any thorns. Yeah, like the exploration, the movement, or travel stuff seemed to go by pretty quick. Was the elf woman, was that a random encounter on the table?
Great. I'm glad you asked that question, Brad. Because if you can't tell, I'm doing my job.
Okay.
Unlike the last explorers, I had a bit more to her.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, good stuff. Enjoyed it. Had fun. Would play again.
Would play
This place
again.
is so creepy.
A++.
Cool. Sean, you go next. I don't know.
No, I thought it was a good session. I don't think I had any thorns for it. Like I was saying, very similar to Brad. Also, I thought like the exploration, the battle at the beginning also was cool. It was fun to also to use another ability and stuff for my good. Slowly get to show everybody else that eventually everything I get to do. So that was fun, and that was a lot more powerful than I thought it was. Yeah, the exploration also went by pretty quick on that, and seeing the bird cries and stuff like that, it was good. Everything flowed really well. I don't think I had any thorns at all.
Before I forget, inspiration to John it was while Sean was talking, I was like, oh right, John did something, and then it's already left me.
Maybe you'll remember after John, who's next, goes.
Adult eating stuff.
Yeah, for sticking to the I want to experiment with all the drugs.
It paid off.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, so I like all the bird stuff. Oh, also we traveled pretty fast.
Yeah.
We didn't do dilly dally. We moved. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
My one thorn is the spell I just cast. It doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it should really be saves and checks for a second level spell, right?
Well, and I'm racking my brain to think of any time we've ever needed to make a Constitution check for anything.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like
always a saving throw.
It's like holding your breath is a con check. I don't know. Exhaustion mechanics are usually a con check.
Because typically anything to do with Constitution is preventing something bad from happening to you.
Yeah, so it's the same. So I just misread that. I mean, you do get some temporary hit points, so it wasn't like a waste, but it was a waste for a second.
There's other uses of it too, right? Though, like
yeah.
Different. Okay.
And they're mostly social encounters, so that's why I preferred it today. I thought today would be a social encounter day, so I'd be like, oh, here, have some wisdom checks or charisma checks.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Advantage.
Oh, you can choose. So it's not just.
You choose which one you want to do.
I just chose the wrong one. But yeah. I think I'm going to enjoy the bird people. I think it's a lot of fun.
Okay, cool.
I do not. Thorns, this music, turning it off.
That's good. Here, let me assist you, Groovy. That's enough of that. All right, Liz, you go next. Andre, you're
Yes.
last. You're back to last.
Always.
Yeah, it was good. You know, we traveled pretty fast. It was nice to see Donequin's some more in combat with your fun stuff that we haven't seen a lot of. So it's nice to get more of that. The bird people are really interesting. Like, I don't know, for some reason they just make me nervous. Like, I'm gonna say the wrong thing and they're gonna kick us out. Like, you know, they kind of are on the level with like the princes in that regard, where I feel like I have to be careful, I guess, with them.
And getting kicked out of this place could be, you know, real bad. Depending on how angry they are, they just might be like, all right.
I'm not too worried about that.
For you.
For me, as I say, I'm fine. But yeah,
counterspell on the way down, you're fucked.
well, not if I use my wing.
That's why that's why they tie you up first and then throw you down. Anyways, yeah. Go. Sorry, Rose. Sorry.
Yeah, no thorns that I can think of. I mean, I think we got through what felt like quite a lot. Today. I'm definitely I'm assuming, this is just Liz, that this Dwellers thing, given the music, is kind of tying back potentially to that Mr. Withers guy type of deal. That whole, because he had the same sort of feel as what this dude has been saying. Which, if that's the case, I'm very interested in getting a little more with that, because we've gotten nothing other than that tablet. We haven't had anything else that connects to that. So if this connects to that, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. Cool. Alan? Andre? Sorry.
What do you want? What do you want, Corey?
I mean, if you want to do it in character, but
yeah, I mean, I agree with everybody else. I thought the war ostriches were very cool. The travel was great. I really enjoyed meeting that other exploration party and just having a little chit chat and trade. And I'm excited that we're at Kir Sabal. They're all roses. Thorn was the music, but John beat me to it.
It's so
but will you
creepy.
remember it if you hear it again?
Well, I think we've heard it once before, and that's what made me think of it. Is when we found the tablet. I think it's Withers or whatever.
It is Mr. Withers' theme song.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, when we found the tablet, you played it, and I'm like, why is there a baby talking to me? So it stood out.
That's my goal. I have specific music for a lot of different characters that I play when things relate to them. I'm trying to get that way if you just hear it, you'll be like, fuck, you know, or yay. Anyways.
Well, this one, I got this one down.
Or this one is just like, he's so fucking annoying. His music is. But anyways. Yeah, good times. I thought we just rolled through the exploration pretty quick. I mean, it helped that you guys didn't really change your rolls too much day to day. That made things pretty smooth, which is always great when you get into that just rhythm. Like, you don't have to just constantly change things. But I think it also helped that, like, a few days in a row, there wasn't any major complications either. Actually, did you guys even come? I mean, you came across a couple. I mean, yeah, obviously the hurricane at the very beginning was a setback. It put you back a day, used some extra resources. You had to backtrack and you know, but whatever. That's them's the breaks. But you guys went through that pretty good. I really liked the RP you guys were having just as you're waiting out the storm. Yeah, I so far I'm enjoying Kir Sabal. As I'm trying to get my head into like this reclusive monastic, like weird like bird people, and how they would actually like view the world and like interact with people when they're not just like, I'm a bird person, but I'm just a human in a bird that looks like a bird. Like, I'm trying to make sure I'm like,
well,
okay,
like one human.
Yeah.
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 You frighten children. That's...
He was like, he looked like he was like 5 or 6 years old, young Chilton boy. in a bird costume.
Maybe he thought I was really cool. He was just nervous.
Probably.
Maybe,
Yeah.
You're a
maybe he was a
Bultidog.
ghost. Or anyways.
Elephant
I
ghost.
forgot to share. No, I'm not supposed to share that. Was that? No. Okay, good. I almost shared a image I was not supposed to yet. Yeah, but yeah, it was fun. I liked it, and I'm glad that you guys are here, and I'm glad that you guys. I'm just glad that you guys have just been going down this particular like path that you guys are on right now, because I didn't know when or if you guys were gonna go this way. Like exactly. Like I was just like, oh, maybe they'll just go off somewhere else and do something completely different. But yeah.
Question for you, Corey. I'm assuming that the dwellers are the threat that is replacing the terrafolk, because that was what initially was their like. Oh, if you're gonna go help them, they've been having a lot of trouble with terrafolk recently.
Well, that wasn't her. That was Azaka's people.
It was no, the monastery of Kir Sabal was being attacked by terrafolk when we first heard about it.
Oh.
They were constantly being harassed by them.
Oh, I in my notes I have that that was Azaka's quest. Was that?
I mean, it's
her
probably her too.
Yeah.
We've also encountered terrafolk at Imbala.
Firefinger down the Tariki was being.
Did they
Terrafolk.
replace the terrafolk threat, or is it just in addition to?
I assume replace, because terrafolk threat would be way too easy for us now.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
No, oh god.
On its own.
That sounds like a challenge. Yeah, but
if terrafolk descend upon me.
So yeah, great. Well, we'll find out next time who these dwellers are, what they might want, and if you guys will survive. Does this make you enough worthy, or do you still have to go through the test afterwards? You don't know. We'll find out next time. So that's where we'll end. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Magic Mythal Tomb of Annihilation. We do live stream our games at 4 p.m. Sunday nights Pacific time here on Twitch. You can catch up on weekly sessions as well. They'll be posted up on YouTube. And if you enjoy spending time with this, watching us, consider giving us a follow and turning on your notifications and see when we go live, and you'll never miss an episode. Thanks again, and thank you to all my players. Until next time, have a good night.